I think you use the correct term there, befuddled. I run a COVID test site on behalf of one of the big kind of 5 facilities management companies. So I think you're also correct in saying you can't call it Serco Test and Trace because it's not just Serco. It's Serco, G4S, Mighty, Sodexo, all of them.
Okay, but you think these big service companies, these big private sector service companies whose names should be on the box as opposed to the NHS?
Their name should be on the box. Everything's going unchecked. That's the issue. There's nobody going. So even Department of Health and Social Care, nobody's checking that. Hang on a second. That quote is eye-wateringly high and ridiculous, and there's no reason for us to be paying such a huge, vast amount of money for such a low-cost item. I'll give you an example. We've got 2,300 of these test centres around the country. On my very little site that I manage, I've got a staff of 10 every day, 13-hour shifts, 7 days a week. We work 4 days on, 4 days off. We've got 2 white gazebos, 3 by 3 meters. They're being rented out by the subcontractor, being billed to Test and Trace for £500 per week each.
How much do they cost in B&Q?
Precisely. You could get them for less than £500 because they're decent quality, but it's not going to be more than £500.
I don't believe it. First call, penny drop.
So if you do the maths, that's £500 per week per gazebo. I've got a very small site. Some of these sites have massive.
Just describe, if you would, in the spirit of Lloyd Grossman, describe the gazebo to people unfamiliar with the setup.
The gazebo is going to be. What you'd see at a food market, that a food vendor is selling.
So it's like a tent with no sides.
It's a tent with no sides. Okay. We've got one.
Gazebo's gazebo is. See, that's why you're ending up paying £500 a week because they called it a gazebo. If they'd called it a tent with no sides, someone would have gone, "Hang on a minute, £500 a week for a tent with no sides? You're having a laugh."
We have one which gets used as a holding pen for people coming onto the site, and then one which is standing empty, just not being used. It's erected. There's no point for it being there.
And that's £1,000 a week to pay.
If you do that maths, that's £26,000 per year on the rental of gazebos.
For one tiny testing site in one tiny corner of Yorkshire.
Exactly. If you multiply that across all the sites across the country, that's about £119 million a year.
So who signs off on that?
Next year.
I know. I mean, even I can do the math.
Department of Health and Social Care.
But who? I mean, I don't want you to name anybody, obviously. But who? Because
DHSC.
Yeah, but does someone come along? Does it cross their desk, or was the message? And I have some sympathy for this in the first instance, because it worked with the vaccines, oddly, didn't it? Giving Kate Bingham a blank cheque, giving her a blankety blank chequebook and pen, and telling her just to go out and buy whatever she could for whatever the cost was. That worked. So there is, as I bend over backwards to try to understand them, the bit that you have where they go, well, look, first, no questions asked. Just get it set up, lads. Just do it. I don't care. Money's no object. No?
Exactly, and that's what they've done.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with the Nightingales as well. I was heavily involved there. But you can't continue doing this unchecked. It's time.
But they have for 18 months now.
Precisely, and it's time that
and you're still paying. You're still paying for these gazebos.
Well, I'm being paid to stand around and do next to nothing. We my last shift, we had 46 customers come and get tested. 46.
And how many people are there?
We employ 10 people plus myself. That's 11 on a shift. And that's a small site. Well, I'm for 46 tests.
I'm grateful for your honesty. You're almost in whistleblower mode this morning, aren't you?